How much is a canine American window? Hmm?
First, sup Carnival, how are you, mate? How you going? How are you today? This fine, fabulous Friday evening. Fine, fabulous Friday. Pattern that one. A second favorite, three lots of the same letters. First being ZZZ for being asleep. Get your head out of the gutter. Get your head out of the gutter, Karma. Head it out of there. Travels. You talking to me? Or Karma? I don't think Karma's been back from holidays for a little bit. Yeah, Karma, that's crazy, man. Hi Arden, how are you? Me. Well, today I streamed and then I edited out a video for the Red app, which was pretty sick. Posted that. Still sit at 0 views, but I believe it'll get at least one, which is pretty dope. I'm getting more interactions on hi Arden. I'm getting more interactions on my shorts and my Instagram posts. Like I'm getting people commenting and liking the videos, and I'm getting at least about 1,000 views per post now. Pretty dope. And then I went to the gym, did chest and triceps. I'm still I did push day. I did a push day. I didn't do chest and triceps. I did push day. And then I went to work, and with my client I watched The End of Oak Street, that new one with Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor, and it was great. Can confirm, great movie. We are growing. The Storm Society will encompass all. Right, and she's in another one coming up soon too. She's freaking everywhere, man. And how don't mind, she's a great actress. By the way, if you're thinking some like End of Oak Street's gonna be a little bit calm, it's not. It's wow. I'm not gonna say anything about it, but damn, son. Really? That's interesting. That's funny, actually. What the heck? How are you guys anyway? Carnival, Karma, Arden. How are you all this evening, or whatever time of day it is for you guys? You excited for the next chapter? Up to chapter 13 tonight. Hi, Jake. Hi, Jana. How are you guys? Who's excited? Wow. Hi, Quincy. How we going, guys? That's crazy. I'm good. Great. I'm reading Harry Potter, Jake. Every evening. Every evening, I read a chapter of Harry Potter. I have eaten. I was feeling lazy for dinner tonight, so I had 4 eggs, mushrooms, spinach, ham, cheese, a bit of light sour cream, and then I made some like mashy peas as well, and put it all into a wrap, 2 wraps, and ate that, which was great. I'm so satisfied right now. Look, mushrooms are great, guys. You know the great thing is about mushrooms is they're never gonna go moldy because they are a fungus. So mushrooms, if they go bad, they just get really soft and squishy. Weird experience, but hey, best thing about a mushroom. Crazy, man. Also, my sister Sophia will be arriving at our house soon. And hear me out, guys. I'm gonna try and do an IRL stream tomorrow. I'm gonna try and do an IRL stream tomorrow. Right? Hear me out. Yeah, get me. This is mainly for the purple app, guys. My sister is on her way over. If she brings my laptop back from her house, I will be able to go live tomorrow from now on away from my computer. Right now, I can only go live on either TikTok or the Purple app when I'm not on my computer. But if I get a laptop, I'll be able to go live on both at once. Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. Thank you for the like, Rose Emily. Hey. Speaking of good brownies, same. I tried making brownies on live stream a little while ago. And they turn out to be more like cakes. So I kind of want to try it again. But next baking stream is going to be no. I was literally about to say this, Arden. Next baking stream, I'm gonna be making banana bread. Oh yeah. I want to make it in a way. How are you? I want to make it in a way that I can eat it as like a pre-workout snack. You know, pre-workout snack banana bread style thing. Let's do a bit of research while we wait, chat. What do we reckon, guys? Do a bit of research. Let's go. Hi, Melanie. How are you? I'll try my best. Pre-workout. Banana bread. Protein banana bread. No. That's good. I'm gonna try. I'm trying. Like I said, I need my I need my laptop, and it's currently at Sophia's house. It is a great pre-workout snack. Okay, here we go. She's on her way over here right now. Okay, I gotcha. She's on her way over here right now. Choc chip. If she brings my laptop back, I'll be able to go live. Big if. Lemon cake sound. One bowl chocolate chip. No, we don't care about one bowl. Moist chocolate chip banana bread. I have two sisters and two brothers. I'm not gonna lie, that looks phenomenal. Waste. Does anybody like that word, or does anyone not like that word? If I say that word over and over again, is it gonna make anybody upset? Some people hate it. Oh, yes. Man, wait, What do you reckon? What do you reckon? What? What the frick? Oh, that is a crazy name, Mia. What? Oh my gosh. Yeah, some people get upset by it. Hear me out. What do we reckon? I had a stream point that's actually hilarious, Mia. I love that name. A stream point thing, and then when you redeem it, the only thing it does is it's just my voice saying moist. You reckon that'd be? I reckon that'd be pretty. Toaster says yes, guys. The lead moderator says yes. I think that's a good sign. um. Okay. Okay. I see three. I see no. Why do you hate us? Please no. So says no. I won't do it, guys. I won't do it. Does anybody have any good recipes? They called me out big time, guys. Does anybody have any good recipes they can think of? Super moist. It gets even better. This one's not just regular moist, it's super moist. This is the best, most moist. This is the most moist and best chocolate chip banana bread recipe. Yes! Just the right mix of tender and dense. This banana bread does not skimp on banana flavor or chocolatey goodness. Ooh! That sounds good. I'm not gonna do it anyway. Hey, thank you for the follow. This is View. Why aren't my follow things working? I don't know. I'll do a bit extra big whip for you, Shadow, just because the sound didn't play. Ugh. Is this song gonna have any music? Oh, that's been a long time. That it's 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 that it's a that used to be my it used to be my punishment whenever I got sassy. They would make me do that. Yeah, I misspelt it. Now it's just there forever now. It's coming, guys. Where's the... Wait, we got this. We got this. Neither have I, but... Here we go. We need TJ Rowan. Where is Rowan, guys? You are in the club right now. I'm like, damn, Mixon. That's not a good view, I'm sorry. Birthday reading. The butts about it. Brick. Get up. I think he's in the Czech Republic right now. Hi, Benji. I think Rowan's in the Czech Republic. Yeah, he's in the Czech. He's in Czech. See, every time I see Rowan's post on Instagram, it makes me think, yeah, this guy's rich even more. Even more every single time. He posts a photo, I'm like, damn, yeah, damn. Well, wait, sorry guys. Yeah, that's true. Even do any of you follow him on Instagram? I follow him, and we follow each other on Instagram now. And like his hair, his smile is so like rich, you know? Not in a bad way. Nothing's bad. No, I'm not talking shade or anything. I mean, in the best way possible. He smiles like a rich man. I was always in love. He's my plus one to my mate's wedding. Mate, Rowan, I have 2 weddings next year that Rowan's coming to as my +1. We've already discussed this. Wait, here we go. Jump to how to get super moist. It's full caps. Full caps, guys. Where the frick's the recipe? Sorry. Benji, I'm still yet to know how you do that. That actually is really good. I'll stop saying it now, guys. I'm sorry. Where the frick is the poke holes in all the bananas on a plate and microwave on 30 seconds high. Check them every 30 seconds. Okay. Okay. You haven't told me what the dry ingredients are or the wet ingredients. Am I an idiot? There we go. I don't think that's possible right now. I think Jill is currently in bed. Guys, I got one more song to play, then we'll start the reading. Ready for this? Does anybody remember this song? What is this garbage? This one. Yeah, she's asleep, guys. I wanna let it go. Let the good times flow. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hi, Riri. This music's getting me in the mood because the next gaming stream, I need to win Fortnite. Too bad I can't dance. What is this? This isn't the original. Oh, this is the Jump Smoke remix. Wait up. This is better. Sorry, guys. Yeah, let's have a quick quiz. One more banana bread recipe. Everybody. Maybe I make gluten-free banana bread so my mom and sister can eat it too. Oh, look how thoughtful I am. That looks really dry. Woo! Woo woo! I'd probably hear me out. Banana's easy. Eggs, egg white. Justice Crew. Good right now. Me down in the mood. They were great though. Did someone say One Piece? One Piece! One Piece is real! Do I sound like Whitebeard? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Sitting wasted. Yeah, but the thing is, right? The thing is as well, you got to think, yeah, it might not look as good as a regular recipe, but two of the four people who live made majority of the time in my side of the house are gluten free. I'm not going to make an entire banana bread that only half the house can eat. Unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately. We have that. Make 2. So, you genius. Every time it astounds me, man. Like, it's like how when you buy a cat and you're like, well, I have one cat. That cat, it doesn't make much difference, but my cat needs a friend. And I mean, having 2 cats is basically the exact same as having 3 cats. And now that I have 3 cats, 2 of the cats have already bonded, and I already have 1 cat on its own now. I may as well get a 4th cat, and so on and so forth. Same with banana bread. I think it's great. Okay, guys, let's lock in. Let's lock in. Quick, everyone quickly say hi to Basil. Basil is here. Basil is listening. Basil hears everything and remembers everything, guys. Remember. Basil hears all, Basil knows all. The greatest emote ever that's locked behind a sub badge. You need to be a subscriber to have that emote, so there you go. Who's excited? It's happening. 9:10 has just hit. When I don't like this music. Midnight Vale. Is that what we're feeling today? Noble Elf Flourish. That is Jill throwing. That is 100% Jill throwing it back, except if Jill was white and not a Dashin. Midnight Lo-Fi. Ooh, I like that one. I like this one. Here we go, guys. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit because that is real loud. Yeah, if Jill. Here we go. I'm gonna read now. You guys enjoy chatting. Chat away. Have fun. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Chapter 13, Mad-Eye Moody. The storm had blown itself out by the following morning. Though the ceilings in the great hall were still gloomy, heavy clouds of pewter grey swirled overhead as Harry, Ron, and Hermione examined their new timetable at breakfast. A few seats along, Fred, George, and Lee Jordan were discussing magical methods of aging themselves and bluffing their way into the Triwizard Tournament. Today's not bad. Outside all morning, said Ron, who was running his fingers down the timetable. Herbology with the Hufflepuffs, care of magical creatures. Damn it, it's still with Slytherin. Double divinations in the afternoon. Harry groaned, looking down. Divinations was his least favorite subject, apart from potions. Professor Trelawney kept predicting Harry's death, which he found extremely annoying. You should have given it up like me, shouldn't you? Said Hermione briskly, buttering herself some toast. Then you'd be doing something sensible like arithmancy. You're eating again, I notice, said Ron, watching Hermione add liberal amounts of jam on her buttered toast. I've decided there are better ways of making a stand out about elf rights, said Hermione haughtily. Yeah, and you were hungry, said Ron, grinning. There was a sudden rustling noise above them, and 100... Hi, Noah. I hope you had a good day as well. I did. 100... Good night, Rowan. Good night, Noah, sorry. 100 owls came soaring through the open windows, carrying the morning mail. Instinctively, Harry looked up, but there was no sign of a white owl amongst the mass of brain ground. The owls circled the tables, looking for the people to whom their letters and packages were addressed. I am. I'm in love with Rowan. Sorry. A large tawny owl soared over to Neville Longbottom and deposited a large parcel on his lap. Neville almost always forgot to pack something. On the other side of the hall, Draco Malfoy's eagle owl had landed on his shoulder, carrying what looked like his usual supply of sweets and cakes from home. Trying to ignore the sinking feeling of disappointment in his stomach, Harry returned to his porridge. Was it possible that something had happened to Hedwig and that Sirius hadn't gotten his letter? His preoccupation lasted all the way across the sodden vegetable path until they arrived in the greenhouse 3. But here he was distracted by Professor Sprout showing the class the ugliest plants Harry had ever seen. Indeed, they looked less like plants than thick black giant slugs protruding vertically out of the ground. Each was squirming slightly and had a number of large, shiny swellings upon it, which appeared to be full of liquid. Booba tubers, said Professor Sprout told them briskly. They need squeezing. You will collect the pus. The what? Said Seamus Finnegan, sounding revolted. Pus, Finnegan. Pus, said Professor Sprout. And it is extremely valuable, so don't waste it. You will collect the pus, I say, in these bottles. Wear your dragon hide gloves. It can do funny things to the skin when undiluted. Beautiful pus. Pus. Pus, guys. Squeezing the buba tubers was disgusting, but oddly satisfying. As each swelling was popped, a large amount of thick yellowish-green liquid burst forth, which smelt strongly of petrol. They poured it in the bottles Professor Sprout had indicated, and by the end of the lesson had collected several pints.
This will keep Madame Pomfrey happy,
said Professor Sprout, stopping stoppering the last bottle with the cork.
An excellent remedy for some more stubborn forms of acne, Bubotuber Pus. Should stop students resorting to desperate measures to rid themselves of pimples. Like poor Eloise Midgen, said Hannah Abbott, a Hufflepuff in a hushed voice. She tried to curse hers off. Silly girl, said Professor Sprout, shading her head. But Madame Pomfrey fixed her nose back in the end.
A booming bell echoed across the castle from the wet grounds, signaling the end of the lesson, and the class separated. The Hufflepuffs climbing their steps to Transfiguration, and the Gryffindors heading the other direction down the sloping lawn towards Hagrid's small wooden cabin, which stood on the edge of the Forbidden Forest. Hagrid was standing outside his hut, one hand on the collar of his enormous black boarhound Fang. There were several open wooden crates on the ground at his feet. Fang was whimpering and straining at his collar, apparently keen to investigate the contents more closely. As they drew closer, an odd rattling noise reached their ears, punctuated by what sounded like minor explosives. "Morning," said Hagrid, grinning at Harry, Ron, and Hermione. "Been waiting for the Slytherins. They don't want to miss this. Blah, send it Scoots."
Come again?
said Ron. Hagrid pointed down at the crates. "Ah!" squealed Lavender Brown, jumping backwards. "Ah!" That summed up the blasted ended Scoots. In Harry's opinion, they looked like deformed, shellless lobsters, horribly pale and slimy looking, with legs sticking out every odd place and no visible heads. There were about 100 of them in each crate, and each about 6 inches long, crawling over each other, bumping blindly into the sides of the boxes. They were giving off a very powerful smell of rotting fish. Every now and then, sparks would fly out of one of the ends of a Scoot, and with a small plop, chut, it would propel itself forward several inches. "Only just hatched," said Hagrid proudly, "and you'll see, you'll be able to raise them yourselves. Thought we'd make a bit of a project of it."
And why would we want to raise them?
said a cold voice. The Slytherins had arrived. The speaker was Draco Malfoy. Crabbe and Goyle were chuckling appreciatively at his words. Hagrid looked stumped at the question.
I mean, what do they do?
said Malfoy.
What is the point of them?
Hagrid opened his mouth, apparently thinking hard. There was a few seconds pause, then he said roughly, "That's next lesson, Malfoy. You're just feeding them today. Now, you'll want to try 'em on a few different things. I've never had 'em before, not sure what they'll go for. I got ant eggs, frog livers, a bit of old grass snake. Just try 'em out, a bit of each."
First pus, and now this,
muttered Seamus. Nothing but deep affection for Hagrid could have made Harry, Ron, and Hermione pick up squelchy handfuls of frog liver and lower them down into the crates to tempt the blast-ended Scoots. Harry couldn't suppress his suspicion that the whole thing was entirely pointless, because the Scoots didn't seem to have mouths.
"Ouch!"
yelled Dean Thomas about 10 minutes later.
"It got me!"
Hagrid hurried over to look at him, looking anxious.
"Its end exploded,"
said Dean angrily, showing Hagrid a burn in his hand. "Ah, yeah, that could happen when they blast off," said Hagrid, nodding.
"Ah!"
said Lavender Brown again.
"Ah! Hagrid, what's that pointy thing on it?"
"Ah, some of them got stings," said Hagrid enthusiastically. Lavender quickly withdrew her hand from the box. "I reckon they're the males. The females got a sort of sucker thing on their bellies. I think they might get their blood sucked."
"Well, I can certainly see why we're trying to keep them alive," said Malfoy sarcastically. "Who wouldn't want a pet that can burn, sting, and bite all at once?" "Just because they're not pretty, it doesn't mean they're not useful," snapped Hermione. "Dragon's blood amazingly magical, but you wouldn't want a dragon as a pet, would you?"
Harry and Ron grinned at Hagrid, who gave them a furtive smile from behind his bushy beard. Hagrid would have loved nothing better than to have a pet dragon, as Harry, Ron, and Hermione knew only too well. He had owned one for a brief period during their first year, a vicious Norwegian ridgeback by the name of Norbert. Harry simply loved monstrous creatures. Hagrid simply loved monstrous creatures. The more lethal, the better.
"Well, at least the Scoots are small,"
said Ron as they made their way back up to the castle for lunch an hour later.
"They are now," said Hermione in an exasperated voice. "But once Hagrid's found out what they eat, I expect they'll be 6 feet long. Well, that won't matter if they turn out to cure sickness or something like that, will it? Said Ron, grinning slyly at her. You know perfectly well I only said that to shut Malfoy up, said Hermione. As a matter of fact, I think he's right. The best thing to do will be stamp on the lot of them before they start attacking all of us. They sat down at the Gryffindor table and helped themselves to the lamb chops and potatoes. Hermione began to eat so fast that Harry and Ron stared at her. Is this a new stand on elf rights? Said Ron. You're going to make yourself puke instead. No, said Hermione with as much dignity as she could muster with her mouth bulging with sprouts. I want to get to the library. What? Said Ron in disbelief. Hermione, it's our first day back. We haven't got any homework yet. Hermione shrugged and continued to shovel down her food as fast as she could, as though she hadn't eaten in days. Then she leapt to her feet, said, "See you at dinner," and departed at high speed. When the bell rang to signal the start of afternoon lessons, Harry and Ron stood up at the North Tower, where at the top of the tightly spiral staircase, a silver stepladder led to a circular trapdoor in the ceiling and the room where Professor Trelawney lived. The familiar sweet perfume emanating from the fire met their nostrils as they emerged at the top of the stepladder. As ever, the curtains were all closed. The circular room was bathed in a dim reddish light cast by many lamps, which were all draped with scarves and shawls. Harry and Ron walked through the massive occupied chintz chairs and buffets that cluttered the room and sat down at a small circular table. "Good day," said the misty voice of Professor Trelawney right behind Harry, making him jump. A very thin woman with enormous glasses made her eyes appear far too large for her face. Professor Trelawney was peering down at Harry with the tragic expression she always wore whenever she saw him. The usual large amount of beads, chains, and bangles glittered upon her person in the firelight. "You are preoccupied, my dear," he said mournfully to Harry. "My inner eye sees you have brave face to trouble your troubled soul within, and I regret to say that your worries are not baseless. I see times difficult ahead for you, alas, most difficult. I fear you will indeed come to pass, and perhaps sooner than you think." The voice dropped almost to a whisper. Ron rolled his eyes at Harry, who looked stonily back. Professor Trelawney swept past them and seated herself in a large winged armchair before the fire, facing the class. Lavender Brown and Parvati Patil, who deeply admired Professor Trelawney, were sitting on puffs very close to her. "My dears, it is time for us to consider the stars," she said. "The movements of the planets and the mysterious portents they reveal only to those who understand the steps of celestial dance. Human destiny may be deciphered from planetary rays, which intermingle," but Harry's thoughts had drifted. Perfume fire always made him feel sleepy and dull-witted, and Professor Trelawney rambling talks and fortune-telling never held him any exactly spellbound, though he couldn't help thinking about what she had just said to him. "I fear the thing you dread will come to pass." But Hermione was right, Harry thought irritably. Professor Trelawney really was an old fraud. He wasn't dreading anything at the moment at all. Well, unless he counted the fears that Sirius had been caught. But what did Professor Trelawney know? He had long since come to the conclusion that her brand of fortune-telling was really no more than lucky guesswork and a spooky manner. Except, of course, for that time at the end of the last term, when she had made the prediction about Voldemort rising again, and Dumbledore himself said that he thought the trance had been genuine, when Harry described it to him. "Harry!" Ron muttered. "What?" Harry looked around. The whole class was staring at him. He sat straight up. He had almost dozed off, lost in the heat and his thoughts. "I was saying, my dear, you were clearly born under the baleful influence of Saturn," said Professor Trelawney, a faint note of resentment in her voice. The fact he had obviously not been hanging on her words. "Born under what? Sorry?" said Harry. "Saturn, my dear. The planet Saturn," said Professor Trelawney, sounding definitely irritated that he wasn't riveted by the news. "I was saying, Saturn was surely in a position of power in the heavens at the moment of your birth. Your dark hair, your mean stature, tragic loss so young in life. I think I am right in saying this, my dear, that you were born in midwinter?" "No," said Harry. I was born in July.
Ron hastily turned his laugh into a hacking cough. Half an hour later, each of them had been given a complicated circular chart and was attempting to fill in the position of the planet to their moment of their birth. It was dull work, requiring much concentration of timetables and calculations and angles.
I've got 2 Neptunes here, said Harry after a while, frowning down at his piece of parchment. That can't be right, can it?
Ah, said Ron, imitating Professor Trelawney's mystical whispers.
When 2 Neptunes appear in the sky, it is sure sign that a midget in glasses is being born, Harry.
Chambers and Dean, who were working nearby, sniggered loudly, though not loudly enough to mask the excited squeals from Lavender Brown.
Oh, Professor, look! I think I've just got an unexpected planet. Oh, which one's that, Professor?
It's Uranus, my dear, said Professor Trelawney, peering down at the chart.
Can I have a look at Uranus too, Lavender?
Said Ron. Most unfortunately, Professor Trelawney heard him, and it was this, perhaps, that made her give them so much homework at the end of class.
A delayed analysis in the planetary movements in the coming month will affect you, which, with reference to your personal chart,
he snapped, sounding more like Professor McGonagall than her usual airy-fairy self,
I want it ready to hand in next Monday and no excuses.
Miserable old bat, said Ron bitterly as they joined the crowds descending the staircase to the Great Hall and dinner.
That'll take all weekend, that will.
Lots of homework, said Hermione brightly, catching up with them.
Professor Vector didn't give us any at all.
Well, bully for Professor Vector, said Ron moodily. They reached the entrance hall, which was packed with people queuing for dinner. They just joined the end of the line when a loud voice rang behind them.
Weasley, hey, Weasley!
Harry, Ron, and Hermione turned. Malfoy, Crabbe, and Goyle were standing there, each looking thoroughly pleased about something.
What?
Said Ron shortly.
Your dad's in the paper, Weasley,
said Malfoy, brandishing a copy of the Daily Prophet and speaking very loudly so that everyone in the packed entrance hall could hear.
Listen to this. A further mistake at the Ministry of Magic. It seems as though the Ministry of Magic's troubles are not at an end yet, writes Rita Skeeter, special correspondent. Recently, under fire for its poor crowd control at the Quidditch World Cup and still unable to account for the disappearances of one of its witches, the Ministry was plunged into further embarrassment yesterday by antics of Arnold Weasley and the misuse of Muggle artifacts.
Malfoy looked up.
Imagine them not even getting his name right, Weasley. It's almost as though he's completely non-entity, isn't it?
He cowed. Everyone in the entrance hall was listening now. Malfoy straightened the paper with a flourish and read on.
Arnold Weasley, who was charged with possession of a flying car 2 years ago, was yesterday involved with a tussle with several Muggle lawkeepers, policemen, over a number of highly aggravated dustbins. Mr. Weasley appeared to have rushed into aid of Mad-Eye Moody, the aged ex-Aurora who retired from the Ministry when no longer able to tell the difference between a handshake and an attempted murder. Unsurprisingly, Mr. Weasley found upon arrival at Mr. Moody's heavily guarded house that Mr. Moody had once again raised a false alarm. Mr. Weasley was forced to modify several memories before he could escape from the policeman, but refused to answer Daily Prophet's questions about why he had been involved in the Ministry in such an undignified and potential embarrassing scene. And there's a picture, Weasley, said Malfoy, flipping the paper over and holding it up. A picture of your parents outside their house. If you can call it a house, your mother could do with losing a bit of weight, couldn't she?
Ron was shaking with fury. Everyone was staring at him.
Get scuffed, Malfoy, said Harry. Come on, Ron.
Oh yeah, you were staying with them this summer, weren't you, Potter? said Malfoy.
So tell me, is his mother really that porky, or is it just his picture?
You know your mother, Malfoy, said Harry. Both he and Hermione had grabbed the back of Ron's robe, stopping him from launching himself at Malfoy.
That expression she's got, like she's doing dung under her nose. Has she always looked like that, or was it just because you were with her?
Malfoy's pale face went slightly pink.
Don't you dare insult my mother, Potter.
Keep that fat mouth shut then, said Harry, turning away. Bang! Several people screamed. Harry felt something white-hot graze the side of his face. He plunged his hands into his robes for his wands, but before he even touched it, he heard a second bang and a roar which echoed the entrance hall. "Oh no you don't, laddie!" Harry spun around. Professor Moody was limping down the marble staircase. His wand was out, and it was pointing right at a pure white ferret, which was shivering on the flagstone floor, exactly where Malfoy had been standing. There was a terrified silence in the entrance hall. Nobody but Moody was moving a muscle. Moody turned to look at Harry. At least, his normal eye was looking at Harry. The other one was pointing into the back of his head. "Did he get you?" Moody growled. His voice was low and gravelly. "No," said Harry. "Missed." "Leave it!" Moody shouted. "Leave what?" Harry said, bewildered. "Not you, him," said Moody, growling. Jerked his thumb over his shoulder at Crabbe, who had just frozen, about to pick up the white ferret. It seemed that Moody, rolling his magical eye, could see out the back of his head. Moody started to limp towards Crabbe, Goyle, and the ferret, which gave a terrified squeak and took off, shrieking towards the dungeons. "I don't think so," roared Moody, pointing his wand at the ferret again. It flew 10 feet into the air with a loud smack on the floor and then bounced upwards once more. "I don't like people who attack their opponent's back," growled Moody, as the ferret bounced higher and higher, squealing in pain. "Stinking, cowardly, scummy thing to do!" The ferret flew through the air, its legs and tails flailing helplessly. "Never do that again," said Moody, speaking each word as the ferret hit the floor and bounced upwards again. "Professor Moody!" said a shocked voice. Professor McGonagall was coming down the marble staircase with her arms full of books. "Hello, Professor McGonagall," said Moody calmly, bouncing the ferret still higher. "What are you doing?" said Professor McGonagall, her eyes following the bouncing ferret's progress through the air. "Teaching," said Moody. "Teach? Moody, is that a student?" shrieked Professor McGonagall, spilling the books out of her arms. "Yep," said Moody. "No!" cried Professor McGonagall, running down the stairs and pulling out her wand. A moment later, with a loud snapping noise, Draco Malfoy had reappeared, lying in a heap on the floor with his sleek blonde hair all over his now brilliantly pink face. He got to his feet, wincing. "Moody, we never use transfiguration as a punishment," said Professor McGonagall weakly. "Surely Professor Dumbledore told you that?" "He might have mentioned it, yeah," said Moody, scratching his chin unconcernedly. "But I thought a good sharp shock." "We give detention, Moody, or speak to the offender's head of house." "Yeah, I'll do that then," said Moody, staring at Malfoy with great dislike. Malfoy, whose pale eyes were still watering with pain and humiliation, looked malevolently up at Moody and muttered something in which the words, "my father," were distinguishable. "Oh yeah?" said Moody, quietly limping towards a few steps, the dull clunk of his wooden leg echoing around the hall. "Well, I know your father, old boy. You tell him Moody's keeping a close eye on his son. You tell him that from me. Now your head of house will be Snape, will it?" "I'm trying my best, thank you." "Yes," said Malfoy resentfully. "Another old friend," growled Moody. "I've been looking forward to a chat with old Snape. Come on, you." And he seized Malfoy's upper arm and marched him off towards the dungeon. Professor McGonagall stared anxiously after him a few moments, then waved her wand, and her fallen books caused them to soar up into the air and back into her arms. "Don't talk to me," said Ron quietly to Harry and Hermione as they sat down at the Gryffindor table. A few minutes later, surrounded by excited talk on all sides about what just happened. "Why not?" said Hermione in surprise. "Because I want to fix that in my memory forever," said Ron, his eyes closed, an uplifted expression on his face. "Draco Malfoy, the bouncing ferret." Harry and Ron both laughed at Hermione. Harry and Hermione both laughed, and Hermione began doling beef casserole onto each of their plates. "He could have been hurt, Malfoy," she said. "It was good. Really, that Professor McGonagall stopped it." "Hermione!" Ron said furiously, his eyes snapping up again. "You're ruining the best moment of my life." Hermione made an impatient noise and began to eat at top speed again. "Don't tell me you're back to the library this evening," said Harry, watching her. "Got to," she said thickly. "Loads to do." "But you told us, Professor Vector, it's not schoolwork," she said. Within 5 minutes, she had cleared her plate and departed. No sooner had she gone than her seat was taken by Fred Weasley. "Moody," he said. "How cool is he?" "Beyond cool," said George, sitting down opposite Fred. Super cool, said the twins' best friend Lee Jordan, sliding into the seat beside George. We had him this afternoon, he told Harry and Ron. What was it like? Said Harry eagerly. Fred, George, and Lee exchanged looks full of meaning. Never had a lesson like it, said Fred. He knows, man, said Lee. Knows what? Said Ron, leaning forwards. Knows what it's like to be out there doing it, said George impressively. Doing what? Said Harry. Fighting the dark arts, said Fred. He's seen it all, said George. Amazing, said Lee. Ron dived into his bag for his timetable. We haven't got until Thursday, he said in a disappointed voice. Moody is the new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. What do you think, guys? That was a fun one. Hi, Harry Styles, Pinky Toes. How are you? Wicked. That was a pretty sick chapter. Next chapter, guys, for those who are interested. Such a good chapter. Next chapter is the Unforgivable Curses. So next chapter is when we get to actually see Moody in action. Thank you. I'm trying to do more voices, but it's very hard to remember the voices I do, so I feel like they just change all the time. I try my best. You get 2 chapters when they're small. If they take like it's currently 22. It took like nearly half an hour to read that chapter. If I was to do another chapter, I'd be reading for an hour straight, and that's a lot. Speaking out loud for an hour straight is hard work. I can do it, but it's hard work. But like earlier in the book, there was a couple of chapters that were like 5 pages. And if we ever get one of those and the next chapter isn't too long, then I will do 2 chapters. But the chapters are getting longer and longer as we get into the book, I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, it's starting to get really long. Oh well. Anyway, guys, I'll make an announcement when I end the live stream. I think my sister's here right now. I did see that. I was looking because I went and watched a movie. Has anybody seen this movie? Has anybody seen this movie bouncing around? The End of Oak Street? I went and watched that with my client yesterday. I mean today, sorry. And I did notice that it is nothing like Jurassic Park, but I see what you mean. It is I can't really put a word to it. It is a lot. It is phenomenal though. The ending was a little strange, but I thought it was great. It does have dinosaurs in it. Dinosaurs. Genre is dinosaurs. Sci-fi adventure is the genre. So the story is, this family, it's really good, so. This family's entire street gets teleported back in time when the dinosaurs lived. Oh yeah, it is so much better than the newer Jurassic World movies. It is really good. Plus, as we were saying before, Anne Hathaway's in it, and every time, like genuinely, every time I see Anne Hathaway on screen, she's better. She's just such a good actress. She's so, like, there's not many actresses and actors who can act in a movie and make me see them as the character they are. And I have, like, most actors you watch, I watch them and they're just like this. I can still see them sort of. For example, I love Tom Holland, but every time I see Tom, I just sort of see him as Tom Holland playing a character. But every time I see Anne Hathaway, she gets so into her character. Same with Ryan Gosling. I think Ryan Gosling's another one. Both of them get like, they're so like That yeah, he's very good at Spider-Man. But for example, Tom Holland in Odysseus sort of just felt like George Clooney's another one. Tom Holland in Odysseus sort of just felt like Tom Holland tending to be he was Tom Holland role playing as a button or something. Still did an amazing job, but I don't know. To me, he just didn't fit. Ryan Reynolds is really good actually, but no, I think my favorite actress right now would probably be Anne Hathaway. He is just himself in every movie. I love Anne Hathaway and I love Ryan Gosling. I think those would be my number two. I wouldn't be able to separate them, mainly because Anne Hathaway has been popping off in movies recently, and she's really good. And then obviously Ryan Gosling's been in a lot, but genuinely one of my favorite movies of all time, Project Hail Mary. Absolutely phenomenal movie. If anybody hasn't watched Project Hail Mary, go watch it and find it. You've never seen Project Hail Mary? What? Oh, you're missing out. It is so good. It is so good. Genuinely one of the best movies. Sci-fi. Like a spaceship one. Is genuinely one of the best movies I've ever seen in my entire life. And apparently the book's even better. I like this, but yeah, sci-fi. It's like space adventurer. He's a pilot. He's a spaceman. But no, I love it so much. I want to get this book for my bookshelf because I need it. I need it on my shelf. Also, guys, remember to say hi to Basil. When Basil's always watching. Ooh, I could. That'd be an easy one because I don't think it's very big. Right. It's only 30 chapters, so we'd be able to read Project Hail Mary in a month. And it's only a standalone book, so then we can just jump straight into the next series after. That's another good one to add to the list. So far, I think on the list we've got Game of Thrones, ACOTAR, and now Project Hail Mary. Oh, and Prison Healer. And Prison Healer. But I'll add it to the list. But anyway, guys. Didn't a new Percy Jackson come out recently? New one came out. When was the most recent Percy Jackson? 2024, so it's been 2 years, nearly 3 years. Never mind. Fair. I've only ever read The Lightning Thief. I read The Lightning Thief on Kindle back in the day on my phone. And that's about it. Speaking of, I am. Well, that's the great thing. The great thing about books is they have an ending. He doesn't need to keep writing more books. He can just end the series, man. Sorry, what do you say, Coca-Cola? A month, lol, a movie that's horror in a book. You want a horror book? You want me to read a horror book, Coca-Cola? It should have ended a long time ago. He's just trying to milk it for all it's worth. He's gonna just keep publishing more Percy Jackson books until people stop reading Percy Jackson. That's the simple truth. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't really read any horror books. Read anything from Stephen King is my recommendation. But guys, I do have to go. I need to go check before my sister goes to sleep. I need to check to make sure my laptop's here. Um, But I'm gonna end the live here. Hope you've all had a fabulous time. Whatever time of day it is for you all. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter tonight. I will see you. Hopefully, I really hope that I can get an IRL stream on the Purple app tomorrow. I really hope I do because I love streaming the Purple app and I love chatting with you guys. And it makes me sad when not everyone can watch it. I am gonna end the live here. I'll see you later, Pinky Toes. Very good chapter. Bye, Karma. Bye, Carnival. Bye, Coca-Cola. I'm gonna end the live at 3, 2, 1. Bye bye.